I wish I had the brains to draft Marques Colston. That's about the best way I can sum it up. I had 7 rounds to make a move, then get it done.
When you think of Saints wide receivers, one player comes to mind, Michael Thomas, the 2019 Offensive Player of the Year and Drew Brees' favorite target in the last few years of his career. But before Michael Thomas, there was another player that was Drew Brees' favorite target. In fact, out of all the players Drew Brees threw to during his 20-year career, this receiver caught the most touchdowns from him, which is 72 touchdowns. And he was part of one of the best quarterback-wide receiver duos of the 2000s, Marques Colston, the subject of today's video. Saints fans like me know how elite Marques Colston was during his career and have always given him the respect he deserves. But you don't really see non-Saints fans give him the same respect, and that is because he was never named to an All-Pro or Pro Bowl team. But today I am here to tell the story of Marques Colston and a remarkable career he had. But before we get into that, I would like to thank today's sponsor. Are you looking to purchase tickets to a sporting event, whether it is a football, baseball, or basketball game? If so, SeatGeek has the tickets you need. A score ranging from 0 to 10 is provided on each ticket to let you know if it's a good deal or a bad one. You can get $20 off your next purchase with the promo code Charlie Parker as shown on the screen. If you want to learn more about SeatGeek, the link to the website's in the description below. Alright, let's get on with the video. Marques Colston was born on June 5th, 1983 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He grew up in what he considered a football house. His 2 older brothers played football. His father, James Colston, played football in the CFL. Marques was destined to be a football player from birth. He started playing football at a very young age and gained some great memories from the sport while growing up. Colston was ready to create more football memories at Susquehanna Township High School, but Marques would have a rough start to his high school life. Within the first couple of weeks of his freshman year, his father, James Colston, died of a heart attack, and it hit Marques hard. He considered him his coach for his entire childhood. He also said 14 is a really tough age, and losing a person you look up to most in the world makes it a little bit tougher journey from there on. With his 2 older brothers out of the house, Marques had to become the man of the house. But he didn't let all of that stop him from focusing on football. During high school, Marques played on both sides of the ball as a right receiver and defensive end. His performance earned him all-conference honors in his senior year. He also participated in track and field. He was a member of his school's 4x100 meter relay squad. He also qualified for the 2001 Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association Outdoor Track and Field Championship in the javelin. In that event, he recorded a top throw of 57.03 meters. Once Colston was done with high school, he needed a place to attend college. Luckily, he had already been committed to his school, Hofstra University. But Marques had a chance to play in a more prestigious football program with the Missouri Tigers when they offered him a scholarship. But Marques chose to stick with his Hofstra commitment. These words sound crazy, something many people he grew up with repeated to him, but he had a valid reason for sticking with them. Missouri came in really late, but I had already committed to Hofstra. I like to think I'm a person of integrity and my word is everything. It meant a lot to me they were the first team to really jump and give me an offer. So Marques just wanted to stick with the first school that gave him a chance. I think being closer to home also played a huge part in his commitment. Colston didn't get a lot of targets in his first year, but did put up solid numbers. His second year was better as he got way more targets and saw a rise in catches and yards. His third year was the year he broke out, leading the team in yards and touchdowns. Unfortunately, Colston was forced to redshirt a year after his first successful season because of a shoulder injury, but Colston came back strong in his 5th and final year with Hofstra, setting career highs in catches and yards and was named to the All-Atlantic 10 team. He would finish his career at Hofstra as the all-time leader in yards and touchdowns. Those records were never broken as the football program was shut down after the 2009 season. Marques would declare for the draft after an outstanding 2005 season. He was invited to the combine and put up some stellar numbers showing he was worthy of being drafted. Despite a successful combine, there were some doubts about Marques. Many scouts saw him as a tight end due to his size and catching ability. Some thought he was too slow to play against NFL defensive backs. He was projected to go undrafted and almost happened. 31 wide receivers had been selected and there were 4 picks left. It looked like Marques would go undrafted until the Saints used their last pick number 252 on him, the 32nd wide receiver taken in a draft. I would show a list of all the wide receivers drafted before him, but it is too long. Greg Jennings and Brandon Marshall were the only wide receivers selected ahead of him to make the Pro Bowl or All-Pro team. What's funny is Marques wasn't even the first wide receiver selected by the Saints. They used their 171st overall pick on Mike Haas from Oregon State. So not only did 31 teams pass up on him, but the Saints didn't even think he was the best wide receiver available when they picked Mike Haas. It is rare for guys that get selected 252nd overall to even make a team, so Marques had a lot of work to do to prove he belonged in the NFL. However, he would have to do that on a team that did not have a successful history. The Saints had only made the playoffs 5 times since they became a franchise in 1967. They didn't win a playoff game until 2000, which was the last time they made it to the playoffs. 2005 was a horrible year for the Saints in many aspects. Due to Hurricane Katrina causing significant damage in New Orleans, the team had to play the entire season on the road, playing home games in San Antonio, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Saints would finish with a 3-13 record that year. Their head coach Jim Haslett was fired and replaced by Cowboys assistant coach Sean Payton. The Saints also replaced quarterback Aaron Brooks with Drew Brees from the Chargers. So Colston not only had to prove to people that he belonged in the NFL, but that he could be a part of a new era of Saints football. But it wouldn't be easy since he was stuck in a crowded wide receiver room, which included Dante Stallworth, who was coming off a career year, Jeffrey Henderson, and Joe Horan, who was considered the Saints' greatest receiver of all time when Colston arrived in New Orleans. But a crowded wide receiver room did not stop Colston from impressing people in practice. Due to how well he was progressing, the Saints decided to trade Dante Stallworth to the Eagles. This was risky because he was the only Saints receiver in 2005 to have 900 or more yards. But the move sure did pay off.
Brees throws a comeback to Colston, and Colston scores. Touchdown Saints. And new set going deep. Colston, he underthrew it, caught it anyway. Touchdown Packers.
One timeout left, and there's the quick slant and a touchdown to Marques Colston.
Pumped up.
But on the 18th play of a drive, Marques Colston from
Hofstra
makes the...
As you can see, Marques Colston made an immediate impact for the Saints, and the numbers prove that. Colston was the team's leader in receiving yards, touchdowns, and first downs. He was second only to fellow rookie Reggie Bush in catches. He was Rookie of the Week twice and was tied for second in the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year voting with Maurice Jones-Drew. Vince Young won the award. Marques Colston's outstanding rookie season helped the Saints make it to the playoffs for the first time since 2000. In the win against the Eagles in the divisional round, he caught 5 passes for 55 yards. In the loss against the Bears in the NFC Championship game, he caught 5 passes for 63 yards and a touchdown. Not elite numbers for a postseason, but solid numbers. Overall, a good rookie season for the 252nd pick out of Hofstra. Colston would have a much better second year, leading the team in all receiving categories. Colston's 98 catches were a franchise record for most in a season before Jimmy Graham broke it in 2011. The 11 touchdowns tied Joe Horn's franchise record for most in the season before Jimmy Graham broke the tie in 2013. Unfortunately, Colston's record-breaking season wasn't enough to get the Saints into the playoffs, but it was enough to earn him a 3-year contract extension worth $7.95 million. After signing the contract, Marques Colston would have his first season where he didn't put up 1,000 yards. The only reason he didn't put up 1,000 yards was because he missed 5 games due to a thumb injury. The Saints once again did not make it to the playoffs. However, it would be the last time Colston and the Saints missed the playoffs for a few years. Marques Colston would get back on track in 2009. He once again led the team in every receiving category. He not only helped the Saints make it to the playoffs for the first time since 2006, but got the number 1 seed in the NFC with a 13-3 record. In the divisional round victory against the Cardinals, Colston would have his best postseason performance so far in his career, with 6 catches for 83 yards and 1 touchdown. However, he would follow up that performance with his worst postseason decent performance in the NFC Championship game against the Vikings, 2 catches for 22 yards. But luckily the Saints managed to win the game and advance to the Super Bowl for the first time ever in franchise history. And you better believe Colston wasn't gonna have less than 30 yards in the biggest game of his life. In the Super Bowl, Colston caught 7 passes for 83 yards, which doesn't sound great, but 5 of those catches were for first downs. Colston led the team in that game in catches and yards, and the Saints would win their first ever Super Bowl against the Colts. So in year 4, Colston was a Super Bowl winning team's top target. Not bad for the 252nd pick out of Hofstra. The Super Bowl hangover was not a thing for Marques Colston. He had another productive season for the Saints and even finished top 10 in the NFL in some categories. Even though the Saints regressed a bit, they still made it to the playoffs. Marques Colston had a solid game against the Seahawks in a wild card, but it wouldn't be enough to get past them. In 2011, Colston did not lead the Saints in any receiving category thanks to the emergence of Jimmy Graham. But despite Colston not being Drew Brees' primary target, he still put up pretty good numbers for the Saints. He broke Joe Horn's franchise record for most 1,000-yard seasons in a career with 5. Colston and Graham became the first Saints duo to have 1,000 receiving yards each since Willie Jackson and Joe Horn in 2001. Colston helped the Saints make their 3rd straight playoff appearance. In the wildcard game against the Lions, Colston had his first 100-plus yard game in the playoffs, which helped the Saints get past Detroit. In the divisional round against the 49ers, he broke his playoff career highs in catches and yards and scored a touchdown. Unfortunately, it was not enough to get past San Francisco. It was, however, enough to earn him a 5-year, $40 million contract extension. It was the only positive thing to happen with the Saints during the 2012 offseason, as the bounty scandal had come to light, and head coach Sean Payton was suspended for an entire season for his involvement. But all of that did not stop Marques from having an outstanding first season under his new contract. Colston broke multiple records, including Joe Horn's record for most touchdowns by a wide receiver in Saints history, and Deuce McAllister's franchise record for most total touchdowns. Marques Colston, Jimmy Graham, and Lance Moore were the first trio of receivers in Saints history to record at least 900 yards each. Unfortunately, it was not enough to get the Saints into the playoffs. In 2013, Marques would have his first season under 1,000 yards since 2008, but was still productive in breaking records. He broke Eric Martin's franchise records for most career catches, receiving yards, and yards from scrimmage. The Saints would once again make it to the playoffs. In the wildcard victory against the Eagles, Colston caught 2 passes for 16 yards, all postseason career lows. But in the divisional round against the Seahawks, he set career highs in catches and yards and even scored a touchdown. Unfortunately, the only thing that people remember from Colston in that game was an illegal forward pass that was designed by Sean Payton. The Saints would go on to lose that game. That play would not affect him, as Colston still had a productive season for the Saints, although the Saints would still miss the playoffs. In 2015, Colston had career lows in every receiving category as Brandon Cooks and Willie Snead rose to prominence. This would be Colston's last season as he was cut due to failing a physical. Colston never acknowledged his retirement at the time, but he would never play another snap in the NFL, thus ending his career at age 32. Marques Colston retired as a Saints legend, holding franchise records in catches, yards, touchdowns, amount of 1,000-yard seasons, and games played by a wide receiver. Even though he never got the Pro Bowl and All-Pro recognition he deserved, he did get some other form of recognition. He was inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame in 2019 and was also inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame in 2021. Not bad for the 252nd pick out of Hofstra. Today, Marques Colston is involved with many things. He is the ambassador for the New Orleans charity organization Son of Saint. The organization works to improve the lives of fatherless boys. He is an adjunct professor at North Carolina State University, where he teaches entrepreneurship and life skills to undergraduate students. He is the founder of Compete, a data and analytics company that connects the sports world by providing end-to-end sports tech solutions to collect, analyze, benchmark, and improve athletic performance. He also founded Marques Colston Enterprises, a professional development services company focused on empowering growth-minded individuals and organizations to unlock creativity and possibilities for sustainable business success. That is the story of Marques Colston, a man who never got the appreciation he deserved during his football career, but a legend in many ways. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you later. Peace.